Hi everyone, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon and I wanted to talk about this amazing book called The Four Agreements. As a therapist and as a friend to many, I speak to a lot of different people, and it all comes around, down to the drama we create in our lives, the pain about, what we think is going on with whatever story we are telling ourselves. So, let's get right into it. The Four Agreements is a little simple book by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a short, tiny book, but it's probably definitely one of the most powerful books I've read. I can't even remember when this book crossed my life. Probably, I want to say 15 years ago, whenever it first came out. And I've gone back to it repeatedly over the years. The Four Agreements are, and the first one is be impeccable with your words. So let me just read, I've sort of gone on YouTube, not on YouTube, sorry, on Google, and I sort of looked at a quick summary of the book because I don't have the book on me. I've given away my original copy years ago. But I always go and just, look at the summary of it to remind myself and to share. Oh my God, check this out, hold on. I'm in South. Look at this little animal. This is the beauty of living in Florida. Sorry. And it's gone. Oh, there it is. Oh, too bad. All right. That was kind of cool. It was this, it wasn't a gecko. It was larger. It wasn't an iguana. I don't know what it was. It was one of those iguana families, but it was just beautiful, like almost like a hunter green sort of lizard-like thing that was just scurrying past me. Anyways, the first agreement, Don Miguel Ruiz says, that we should, if we make these four agreements with ourselves and we follow them in our day-to-day lives, I'm laughing at Simon's message who says, 15 years ago when you were 10 years old. Very cute, Simon. No, I'm 44 years old. Anyways, so coming back to this, the first one is be impeccable with your words. So he says, if you follow these four agreements in your life, it really makes life so much easier because you cut 99% of the drama that we create in our lives. So the first agreement, he says, is be impeccable with your words. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your words in the direction of truth and love. Sounds really simple, right? But research shows that, and there's also religious texts that have talked about this, that even the most holiest of people, the holiest of men in the world, end up saying, I can't remember how many lies per day. We tend to have these white lies that we sort of say, without even realizing, and it is really challenging to be impeccable with our words. For example, you get up in the morning and someone says, hey, how are you doing? And you go, oh, I'm doing great. Are you really doing great? And at the same time, is it really appropriate to say, no, I'm actually not doing great. I'm feeling a lot of pain. I'm feeling a lot of grief. I mean, do you really get into that with everyone? You don't, right? So, but again, just saying, yeah, instead of saying, I'm doing great, saying, yeah, whatever, not bad, or whatever the case might be. But, speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Don't lie. Don't be fake. Don't be artificial. Don't, be genuine. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Now, this is one that I struggle with personally myself because, I try not to come from a place of ego, but God knows I do. And I try not to make judgments, but God knows I do. And I don't usually gossip about others. That's not an issue I don't think I have, but my friends will correct me if I'm wrong. But just when someone is speaking ill of someone else, I will stop the conversation. We're not discussing anyone in the moment if they're not there to join the conversation and defend themselves. Or really, what is the purpose of discussing someone else, right? Again, I come back to the power of intention. Are we discussing something about someone to just sort of, because it's fun and it's, we're gossiping, because it's nothing else to talk about? Brene Brown's latest book, which literally has changed my life, Braving the Wilderness, she talks about the common enemy, bond. I forget what the term is, but basically, you bond over a common enemy, right? So gossiping, a lot of times we do that, where we bond over the fact that we're talking ill about someone else and we hate someone together. So our friendship is based on the fact that we hate something or someone, but it's really not a genuine friendship. Not to mention, again, you're incurring karma and debt. So why even go there? And also, not just about others, but, avoid using the word to speak against yourself. We sometimes tend to be our biggest enemy, right? We're not perfect. No one is perfect. I mean, God knows I'm not. I know my strengths and I know my challenges. But, me sitting and beating myself up, what is the point of that? There's enough people who will have opinions about myself. And, I have come a long way over the years to really try to be, oblivious to the opinions of other people about me. Now, it's easier said than done, right? Because the opinions that matter are the people that I love and care about. My nearest, my parents, my brother, my sister, my kids. Their opinions matter to me the most, to a degree, because even then I have to really stand in my own truth, because I know who I am and I'm constantly evolving, but those are the people that I care about. So when someone gives me a compliment, which is wonderful to hear, of course, please don't stop. But at the same time, I'm grateful for them, but I don't let them get to my head, because those are just their compliments on what they perceive of me, which is great. I am a good person, blah, 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 etc., etc. But I also know what my flaws are. So in the moment, I come down to a place of humility and I say, thank you so much. But in my head, I'm going, I know what my flaws are. So, I appreciate that. And at the same time, when someone is criticizing me, I sort of ignore that, and I don't even, listen to that, because again, your opinion of me means absolutely nothing to me, because it doesn't change who I am and what I'm about, right? That's your perception of who I am. I know who I am. So it's a beautiful, powerful thing. And it doesn't mean I'm arrogant by any means. No, not at all. It's not about being arrogant. It's about being confident. And let's talk about the difference between confidence and arrogance. So arrogance is based on insecurities. You're insecure, and so you have a need to sort of throw your weight around. You have a need to sort of, talk about how great you are, how powerful you are, how wonderful you are. You need that sort of thing, but it's based on deep-seated insecurities, not on confidence, not on this deep knowing. So a person who's confident will really have zero desire to talk about their strengths and who they are and to brag about who they are, because there's no need. They are who they are. They have zero desire to sort of have that affirmed from the world. And it's a lovely little, it's such a fine distinction between arrogance and confidence. But, that's how I've always described it. That's my understanding of the difference between arrogance and confidence. So anyways, the other one is use your power of your words in the direction of truth and love. Speak from a place of truth, speak from a place of love. Always. So that's the first agreement, is be impeccable with your words. So the second agreement is don't take anything personally. Oh my God. If we just started doing that, the world would be so much of a better person. I think I would be out of a job as a therapist if we just started not taking things personally. So Don Miguel Ruiz goes on to explain, nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. Let me repeat that. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. When you are immune to the opinions of others when you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Now, easier said than done, right? Because immediately I can hear people that I know saying, well, yeah, but they're doing that to cause me pain. And by their doing that, it's directly affecting, how I'm able to relate or function with, my child or my friends, or, it affects me. Okay, I get it, but I think the point here is to understand and recognize that everyone is the hero or heroine of their own drama, right? So we have created our own life. We are the main hero, the heroine. And everything we think is about us but everybody else is functioning from that same, position where everything they think is about them, and really it's not, and so if we just recognize and understand that, what they're doing has nothing to do with what I am about and who I am. It's just a reflection about who they are, and it's a projection of their reality, their assumption, then that's easier, right? But then I like the next agreement, which says don't make assumptions, because I think that kind of helps put into practical sort of application, don't take anything personally. So let me read that part. Don't make assumptions. So it says, find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. And it says, with this just one agreement, you can completely transform your life. And I agree. Again, in Braving Wilderness, Brene Brown talks about, don't make assumptions. She says, somebody is, looks at us the wrong way, or someone sort of puffs and we assume they're upset at us or it's something about us, and then we ask, if we were just to ask, hey, listen, I noticed that you kind of, rolled your eyes, or you were breathing heavily, or you sighed heavily, is there something we need to talk about, and she gives an example of, something that she'd done an interview with Oprah, actually, I think it was, or several others. And she, she says, Oprah sort of, after the interview was done, she sighed and she sort of, huffed and puffed, and immediately, Brene Brown went to this place of, oh my God, she hates me, I was horrible, blah, 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 blah. Instead, she just asked, hey, Oprah, did we do okay? Is there anything we need to talk about? I'm sensing some kind of, I'm sensing some kind of resentment or some kind of, dissatisfaction. And Oprah, whoever it was, said, no, I have a pain in my right knee, and I'm just, we've been sitting for an hour, and I'm just sort of breathing now because I can finally sort of feel the pain, and that's what it's about. And it was such a beautiful, simple example, and yet this is something, we do all the time, is where we make assumptions, we assume that, somebody is, my son is here. You're going to come say hi. Yes, he's going to crash the live video. Come say hi. Turn the music off. Oh, sorry. Thank you. So finding the courage here. Say hi, Zen.
Hi.
So anyways, finding the courage, to ask the questions and to express, but how many times do we really, are brave enough to go up to someone and have the difficult conversations, to ask I need my glasses in a second, to ask, to really ask for clarification about what were you trying to say, or what is it that you meant, instead of just assuming and taking things personally. And the last assumption, before we go there, the other thing is that,
I'll go do my homework.
Okay. The other thing is that, other people's opinions is none of your business. It really isn't, right? So, let it be. Why does it matter, what their opinions are? They're just opinions. An opinion is like, you've heard the term, and ass blank, asshole, everyone's got one, and so, okay, they're entitled to their opinion. That's the beautiful thing of having free will and free thought, right? But that doesn't mean it's fact, because remember, they're basing it on their perception and their projection of their reality. The other one is, the fourth agreement is your best is going, always do your best. That's the fourth agreement. Always do your best. So your best is going to change from moment to moment, right? It will be different when you're healthy as opposed to when you're sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Okay? Now, regret is a powerful emotion if used in the right, what's the word I'm looking for? Right approach, right attitude. It'll come to me. So let's talk about that. People who say, I don't have any regrets. Brene Brown said something. She did an interview on Oprah. And again, I'm a big Brene Brown fan, if you haven't already figured that out. Please read her books, and she's got tons of YouTube videos right now because she's promoting her new book. Love it. Wise, wise woman. So, I used to say, yeah, I don't have any regrets, which is not always true because we do have regrets, right? But I think having regrets to the point where you learn from your regrets is important. Having regrets to the point where it debilitates you is not, right? So having a regret, which then sort of you use to beat yourself up, is pointless, right? That doesn't serve anyone. But learning from that, learning the lesson, and then forgiving yourself and moving on, that is powerful, right? So sure, regrets are, are powerful emotion, but then just release them. But I think that's all. That's all I think I have to say about that. Let me just quickly review my notes. The only other thing I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite all-time authors and poet is Maya Angelou. And, yes, I read her many years ago. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings is a beautiful, she's written many autobiographies, but it talks about her experience of being raped as a 7-year-old, growing up in rural, Stamps, little southern little town way back when, segregation, pre-Civil War days. And, she talks about, and then the poem that she writes, Phenomenal Woman, is incredible. And of course, Still I Rise is amazing. And one of her many quotes is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And I'll tell you, this is such a powerful quote that has, that I still struggle with to actually listen to and follow. Although I think I've gotten better about it over the years. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, right? So a person, their action speaks louder than words. That's another one. Same sort of thing. But what we tend to do is we tend to make excuses for a person that especially if we love and care about them, we make excuses for their behavior. We justify, they didn't really mean that. They didn't really mean to do that. Maybe they were just having a bad day. They were just sentimental, whatever. No, if a person shows you who they are, good, bad, or ugly, believe them because that's who they are. They're not going to change. And if we're strong enough and courageous enough and brave enough to really look and accept that, again, without judgment, just for the sake of understanding and recognizing that, that's just who they are. That's the best that they can be in that moment. And not taking it personally, but letting them go on their way. If you need to release them, if it's someone that you can release from your life, whether it's a friend, whether it's, a romantic partner, whether it's a coworker, whatever, if you have that option of choosing whether to continue interacting with that person, then great. Why continuously, sign up for being sort of, engaging with someone who is not of the energy level that you want to be at. So anyways, that I thought, is something that I've always believed and tried to practice as best as I can. And again, it's all a process. Okay, I think that's it. This has gone long enough. Thank you so much for joining, everyone, and I hope you have an amazing Wednesday, look at me, I'm already jumping the week, Sunday afternoon, and God bless and take care. Bye-bye.